In this video, let's go over the example where we are asked to find the equation of a tangent line of a function where it seems like you will have to use quotient rule and chain rule when you find a derivative. Let's do it. When I see that we are asked to find an equation of a tangent line, I always mention that you can remember steps to do that. You don't have to follow these steps, but it helps to organize the information. Step 1. Find f prime. We actually need not just f prime, but f prime at the given point x sub 0, but the first step might be really challenging, so let's divide the first step into 2, find f prime, and then plug x equals 1 into the derivative. Okay, f prime of x, indeed, we will have to use quotient rule here, so I will create a fraction. I always recommend to square the denominator first. So instead of the 4, we're going to have 8. Now differentiate the numerator, 3. Copy the denominator, 2 minus 4x to the 4, minus, copy the top, 3x, times, derivative of the denominator requires chain rule. 4 goes down, let me put brackets here. 2 minus 4x should be copied, change the exponent to 3, times the derivative of the function inside. 2 minus 4x gives you negative 4. Close the brackets. This is my derivative, and you can start simplifying it. For example, we can multiply 3 and 4 and negative 4, and it will look better. But you know what? We will never actually use this function in the equation of a tangent line. We just need a number, we need a slope, and a slope is when I'm gonna take x sub 0, and this is the given x over here, and plug it into my derivative. So step 2, find slope, f prime at x sub 0. Look what x sub 0 is, we give it to you, 1, and it's going to be m slope. Let's do it. F prime at 1 is, denominator becomes 2 minus 4 to the 8. Top will be 3, 2 minus 4 to the 4, minus 3, brackets, 4, 2 minus 4 cube times negative 4. Close the brackets. Now carefully take your calculator and calculate, well, maybe some things you can calculate without the calculator. For example, 2 minus 4 is negative 2, but since we're raising into even exponent, then it doesn't matter, and we can just think about it as 2. Same here, but be careful about this case. Here negative 2 is raised to the 3, so it's going to be negative 8. Let's write it down. This piece over here is negative 8. 2 to the 4 is 16. Well, it's negative 2 to the 4 is 16. And then negative 2 to the 8. I actually have a little memo over here. If you want to avoid using a calculator, you can remember these patterns. 2 to the 8 is 256. 256. Then the result becomes 300 times 16 minus 3 times 4 times negative 2 times negative 4 all over 256. Careful with the signs. Negative times negative times negative will be negative. Then you will have negative 336 at the top, 256 at the bottom. I will tell you the secret. I'm not a genius at calculating everything super fast. I just have a cheat sheet in my hand in which I'm looking at. This cheat sheet also tells me that this fraction can be simplified into or reduced into negative 21 over 16. Also, it has a decimal form, And the decimal form is, this is in case we ask you to show us decimal solution, but also in applicational problems, it's nice to have a feeling what this number is. I know it's less than 2 because 16 times 2 is 32, so it's definitely, and it's negative, so it's negative 1 point, and then it's not very close to 2, it's actually halfway through that, and indeed it is 31.25 after negative 1. So this is my answer for the slope m. This is my m, exact answer and approximate answer. This was step 2. Step 3, remember what we're doing? We're looking for the equation of a tangent line. Do we have everything? Equation of a tangent line, we usually use the slope point equation form, which is y minus y naught equals m times x minus x naught. Something might be missing, and that's why I usually tell my students, check if we gave you y naught. Well, x sub 0 is given, but y sub 0, that's what we call y naught, is not given, so we'll have to find it. Sometimes we give you both. To find that one, look at the original function and plug x sub 0 there. So I will make a note for you. Plug or substitute x sub 0 into the original function. Note the derivative. The original function. Let's take the original function. That is 3x over 2 minus 4x raised to the 4. F at 1 is 3x, that's times 1, over, already forgot, but I can use 2 minus 4x to the 8, 2 minus 4 to the 4. I just looked at the square denominator and I remember where this formula is coming from. So 2 minus 4x to the 4. We plugged 1 everywhere I saw x. So if you want, I can write down for you minus 4 times 1, original function. That gives me 3 over 2 minus 4, it's negative 2 to the 4. This will give me a positive number, 3 over 16. And this is my y sub 0. Finally, almost the last step. We have equation y minus y naught equals m x minus x naught. We can check everything we have. X sub 0 was given, slope we found it at the step 2, y sub 0 we just found in step 3. Let's plug everything we have. Y minus 3 over 16 equals, slope is negative 21 over 16, x minus 1. Simplify into the form, so that's I would say step 5, but sometimes we call it step 4 prime. Rewrite as, or in the form y equals mx plus b. This form is objectively better because in this case you clearly can see what your slope is, and slope tells you if slope gives a lot of information actually. It's a rate, and many applications the slope will be very important. Plus b tells you the shift, so we like when you guys give us examples in this form. Y equals negative 21 over 16x, positive 21 over 16x, moving this part to the right hand side, negative 3 over 16 becomes positive 3 over 16. Y equals negative 21 over 16x plus 24 over 16. Not too bad. Can we simplify that? Seems like we can. 24 over 16, if you divide by 4, it's going to be 6 over 4, right? Yes. negative 21 over 16x plus, okay, 6 over 4 can be simplified as well. That's why I got confused for a second. 3/2. Not too bad. And it means we could divide by 8, yes. When it's not too late, I can figure out this faster. By 8. So it becomes 3/2. This is an excellent answer. But in case you are asked to provide a decimal form, grab your calculator, or maybe just have some kind of feeling of what these numbers are. For example, I already told you the intuition behind negative 21 over 16, negative 1.3125x. Since negative 21 is smaller than 32, so it should not be 2, and so on. And 3 over 2, I hope most of you know that it is 1.5. This is a good answer as well. Finding the equation of a tangent line to the function given here and the given input, which is x sub 0, requires 4 or 5 steps. It depends. Your job is not to freak out when you see a function that will require quotient rule, chain rule, product rule, trigonometric function, and so on to calculate the derivative. And this is the derivative I had. Just be very careful at the first step, and you'll do fine. Great job!